Buen dia. Conta ko ba sa awi? Bo, basta man explodies. Misanos na ultimo, pero... Si. That is spirit. Buen dia. Ama Viega Awore. Dus a mi sito hindi energia. Mi no logra escucha, pero me da contento con los podcast, con los escucha, a mi lo por escucha después. Tu recosan ko po sa nga papia awe. Eta queda na ami pa introduci mane bosa tende ka Lindy. Mi que hazi mi introduction un tiki ita me vi Glendeline. Para me, she is a businesswoman and a friend that I have seen work hard and would love to make a positive impact on Aruba. I got the pleasure to be a little close to Lindy. She was my neighbor with Lindy Boutique, and we've been learning from each other, or we have learned from each other in business. So I'm very happy to have you here. Also, Glendeline, I remember when I started I thought about starting with influencer and modeling and all of that. You were just starting. You had a little bit going already, and you were a very big inspiration to me in that area. And so she is a yoga and wellness instructor with a lot of experience that, like I said, I got the pleasure to see grow into a person with passion for health. So that is my little introduction of them. I'm very nervous. I'm going to start with that. I'm very nervous. A lot of people say, but she's a model. She's in front of the camera a lot, but I don't like speaking. So most of my videos don't have sound. They have a music to it, and that's about it. So when you see me talking in front of the camera, I really did a big step, and it's a challenge for me. So this is a challenge that I accepted. So bear with me, okay? So today we're going to talk a little bit about branding. So for me, it says when we talk about branding, we're not just talking about logos and visuals. We're talking about identity and influence and how we show up in the world. Research shows that personal and professional branding helps women gain confidence, amplify impact, and create opportunities that align with their purpose. Today is also about reinvention, which I think really speaks about the two of you a lot. How life's unexpected turns can lead us to even bigger dreams. I can talk about that for myself, but today we're talking about the two of you. But yes, life's unexpected turns can turn into even bigger dreams. And I think that's where I can start with the both of you. I'm gonna go first with Glendeline, sorry. Take us back to when you first started thinking about your brand, and what did this mean to you then?
Definitely let me switch to English. I forgot that part. I have to say, thinking about a brand, for me specifically, I've had different brands throughout my life. And the main focus for me when I'm thinking about a brand is actually which passion do I want to showcase. And I think that's very, very important. So as soon as I have a passion and I put everything in it, and I know I am so ready to share with everybody, and then I'm really starting to think, okay, how do I want to present this to the world? What message and what emotion do I want to transmit? And for me, that's very, very important. I'm very passionate about any topic that I want to speak about, and that for me is very important. So if I can give one specific tip this morning to everybody, so if you want to be creating a brand, start focusing first of what you're really passionate about. And something, if you cannot stop thinking about it, that is something you kind of hone into and dig a little deeper and find out exactly how can you make it bigger. And of course, to be pointing out your passion and your brand, because eventually we're going to lead back into influencing people. Your brand and your passion doesn't have to get to all the corners of the globe. Whatever you're doing at this moment in time, exactly, you are already influencing people around you, next to you, your neighbor, your co-worker. So hone in on what you think is very passionate towards you and start focusing more on that. And I think that's what I did. There's no really some turning point in my life because I had different brands. I had proposal plan. I started influencing for a specific period of my time, which I very, very love because I just wanted to communicate to people. And I think for me, really I honed in fully was my wellness brand, because I was head over heels over 2019 when I found this and the difference it made into my life. And I think then I wanted to start thinking, okay, which emotion do I want to transmit? And who do I want to communicate, and do I want to contact? And that is start with, okay, which is the ladies that I want to communicate with, who are they, what do they like, what they don't like. And I really started being very, very specific. And that's how I started becoming and doing my brands, with a lot of mistakes, but slowly and surely, I'm still growing and evolving.
That's very nice, yeah. Thank you. The next question is, how has your own definition of branding changed as you've grown personally and professionally?
First of all, good morning. Thank you for having me. When I was first asked to do the branding, I was very honored and surprised. So I guess I'm doing something right. But what was the question again?
How has your own definition of branding changed as you've grown personally and professionally?
Well, I think we all think in the beginning that branding is all about the visuals, the colors, but it's not only about that. It's how you feel. And as you grow older and you go through life's transition, your branding also transitions, and you have to like reinvent yourself, which is the whole theme of this part. So that's kind of the way I see it.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that it's how you represent yourself in general. It's, as you said, it's a feeling. It's how you represent yourself, where you walk, who you walk with, how you how you even dress, how everything. I mean, I think branding has to do with so much.
Exactly.
And like you said, depends on who you want to influence and all of that. Okay, so for Glendeline, what role has confidence played in showing up consistently, even when you're still evolving?
This is a beautiful question, and I do think you're always evolving. It doesn't matter. You're always evolving when it comes to that. But if you can just repeat the question for me.
What role has confidence played in showing up consistently, even when you're still evolving?
Exactly. So for me, showing up consistently with confidence is everything. It is absolutely everything to show up with confidence, because there's some days you do not want to do it, you don't want to show up, and you have to consistently do that if you want your brand to continue to grow. It's utmost important, and confidence is believing in yourself. Believe in yourself and know that you're going to make mistakes. And mistakes is how you learn. It's trial and error. And also believe in yourself, have a good team of support people around you, have a good friend, have a therapist, have a business coach, have somebody who's going to, when you're in that funk, because we're all going to fall in that funk. So when you're in that funk, make sure that you have your team with you that can kind of push you on and support you. That is what I found so important. And confidence is just keep on showing up, doesn't matter. And sometimes if you embrace your mistakes, you're going to be more relatable, and people can kind of see themselves through you, and that's very important. Let's say you're going to show up online, or you're gonna have a presentation, maybe not a presentation, but you're showing up online, you're communicating with your community, and you have a zit on your face. And I think you should embrace it, and you should talk about it. Like, for instance, this morning you said you're nervous. You just embrace it, and that is confidence. Every time you show up, even though you don't feel fully 100%, to other people, you're going to be empowering and inspiring other people who are in the same situation. So I think just continue to show up.
Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you. Lindy, can you share an example of a time when consistency or visibility made a big difference in your growth?
Well, a decade ago when I started, I did not know how to start, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna jump in. And I did not know how do you make a brand? How do I make it so other people can know? For example, Lindy Boutique. How can I keep going so people, or to consistency, people get to know who the brand is? So the way I kept going was I was going anywhere that I can see like a camera, I thought, this is the new way. Everywhere that they had like press conferences or anything like that, anything that I can put myself in it, I was in front of. And at that time, I thought, that's the way I can do it, so people can start to know who Lindy is, because if they know who Lindy is, then they can know where my boutique is, and that was the initial goal. And so I think when you start, you just have to jump in it and start somewhere. You just have to do it.
I remember a post, this is a long time ago, that you put of the let's say change from the smaller boutique to the big boutique. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think that was a big visibility change, a leap of faith, actually, going into such a big place. And it was very nice the way that you put it in each other and how you brought these models there. And I remember we had to do like mannequins. We were live mannequins, and you were changing our clothes constantly. I think a lot of those things are a part of your identity and a part of the growth and the visibility you decided to do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, everything has to do a little bit with each other. And I know this morning we start about, thanks to Claudine, we start with visualization. And something that maybe I thought I told you before, but I was back then in your former restaurant. I was sitting there and by myself, and I was eating one of your healthy salads. And I can see from the window, the boutique, there was another store at the time, and it was so empty. And I took a video for my partner, and I said, one day I'm gonna be in here. And I was already in the smaller boutique. So I had envisioned myself, just like I envisioned like how the branding would be, like who the models would be, how they would look like. I envisioned myself in there with all the branding and everything before I had it already.
Okay.
And then a few months later, the store closed. And I went to, I think it was you guys that told me, hey, why didn't you go in there?
Over?
Yes.
I just wanted you close to us. Okay, now, and Glendeline, what mistakes have you seen women make when they think branding is only about appearances? I think we spoke a little bit about this already, but can you elaborate a bit more? And what lesson came from that?
Of course, before I do answer that question, which I would need you to repeat in a bit, I do kind of want to go back to Lindy's story. And I think it's a beautiful story because Lindy was, I know Lindy personally for a long time. So she was a girl that always loved, she had a big closet at home, and all of her friends would go in her closet and would get her clothes and will, get one clothes.
But I didn't get back.
Yeah, that's for sure. But she had that passion. So I think that what I stated before too, speaking about passion, she had the passion since she was 7 or even, younger. And she grew out that passion into building a store. And something that Tessa said earlier too this morning was like, she is just creative. And what she has right now is being creative. And I think everybody should find a space where you can be creative. And I think Lindy did it beautifully. She was super creative in her store. She was the first one who was having plus size models on Aruba very visually and promoted. And I think that was such a beautiful thing. And I think without her even noticing, she had the Lindy brand super big. She started branding herself without knowing. She started branding herself super big. So now you couldn't pass by in front of the building without seeing the name. And now you know exactly everybody who's speaking about. It's Lindy. So it's a beautiful example. So everybody could see that just do your passion and focus on it, and it would grow into something. And it doesn't have to grow into everybody like KMK, but it will grow into something beautiful, something you'll be proud of. So that's just something super quickly I wanted to note about Lindy, but the question, please.
Okay. What mistake have you seen women make when they think about branding? They think branding is only about appearances, and what lesson came from that?
Well, appearances is super important, how you present yourself to the world. And I think why is that important? Because not completely important, but it's very important due to the fact that if your business is services and you are your business, that means you need to be representable at each time. It's a responsibility and a commitment you need to choose to do at all times. If you have a brand product that you are not the face of the company, people are still going to relate you towards that product. So it's very important to have a nice appearance for yourself. And what I mean with nice appearance, it's authenticity. So most important, you need to be you. So if you like long 7 inches nails and you like acrylic and you like red hair, or you like different type of shoes, do your things so you're always standing out. But other than that, when it comes to appearance, it's also yourself, how you present yourself to the world as humanly possible, just without all the clothes. And it's also how you are each and time, even in your own home. When you are at home, when nobody is seeing you, nobody's noticing you, who are you then? And that is really important. So always remember that you are yourself at all times. Appearance is not so important, but it is in a sense important. I do find so, because you are your brand. You are yourself and you need to present yourself. If you're bohemian, be bohemian. Don't try to be a corporate person if you're not a corporate person. So it's very important with that, and lead with heart in everything you do, and that definitely is going to shine through with everything you're wearing.
It's true. Funny story. I went to the supermarket and I said, nobody knows me anyway. I'm just going to go quickly. And I went in my pajamas. It was very close to home. And a follower was there, a follower on Instagram. And I got a message afterwards. You didn't really look the way you look on your pictures. Like, I really thought that, nobody was going to see me. Nobody's going to notice anyways, but I guess they do. So appearances is very important. I never went back to that supermarket with anything that does not look good.
I want to add to that. This week, I went to the supermarket next to my house with my Christmas pajamas. And, I know, like people know me around there. I know the owner. So it was like, it was like 9. I was like, maybe I don't see anyone. Yeah, but I told myself, I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to be Lindy, who is going with the pajama at the supermarket, because next time, that was the second time I did it, by the way. So maybe next time, just embrace it,
Not sure. I'm not sure. I was in mom mode. My hair was just, you can kind of picture it. So my hair was up, but not done, like really bad. My daughter was in my hand. She had on Pampers also. She didn't have on clothes at that time. She didn't want to put on clothes. She had that moment of like, I don't want to wear anything. And I was in a pajama that is not it's not a pretty Christmas pajama. You can take a picture of it now. And she was like, she had a little temper at that moment, so she was trying to come off of my hand. She wanted something in the supermarket, so I was there struggling with her. I didn't even notice the person behind me, so when I got that message, it was like, I didn't even see you, but okay. But anyways, it was a chaotic moment, and on top of it, I had on a pajama, so it was not the best scene. But it did really make me think about of how you present yourself. I think everywhere you go is very important. Every time I go into the office at Bolt, I don't go daily, but anytime I go, I really want to dress up, because when I started real estate, I remember I said, I love the fact that the women in real estate, they really dress up so nicely. So every time I go, I put on something, like the nicest thing I have in my closet, and Eileen says, di ko ba bisya na bonita? But just be oficina. No, but I want to like impersonate that real estate, but still being myself. But that real estate, how do you say that? I think you guys understand what I mean. Can't get the word, but yes. So I do think it's very important. But also, yes, there's moments where it's good to just say, whatever. This is me, and I don't think I'll do that again. But something close to that. Yes.
My pajama did look like a suit, by the way. So.
Okay, so for Lindy, for women reinventing themselves or growing their brand, what practical tip or mindset shift would you share from your own experience?
From my own experience, most of you, or maybe all of you, know me for my boutique. I was always in fashion, and probably will always be. But something that maybe you guys or a lot don't know, I manage a car company, a dealership now. So it's totally different. And people's like, well, how did that happen? Like from clothing to cars. But the business aspect stayed the same. So I love fashion. It's my passion, but business is also my passion. It's what I went to school for. It's what I grew up in business. It's my entire life. So tomorrow I can reinvent myself, and I've thought about it a few times, and create a business of a toilet paper factory, and I will make it a success because that's just the
Core.
The core stays the same, but the branding, those little things change a bit. Yeah, and obviously the industry. So when you reinvent yourself, or the branding, it's who you are at that moment. Because I'm not the same Lindy I was 10 years ago when I started the boutique. I'm a totally different person now. So you grow with yourself and with your branding.
Okay. Yeah. Can you give a little bit of that same question? Should I repeat it? Or?
Yes, it's about rebranding, how you do with rebranding.
Yes.
And I think everything aspects change, like Lindy explained as well. But I think when it comes to, for me specifically, rebrand, can't remember how many times I rebrand. But the thing that sticks for me always is how I carry myself. Always and forever. With a lot of boys, I try to. I'm human and always. And that's something I will always stick with throughout. But rebranding is really following your passion and seeing what you're really, really good at and what kind of gets you up every day. And you don't have to be afraid if you're doing the rebranding. And sometimes you can feel very stuck. So people know you from one specific area of always. And then what's going to happen if you move here? Would they trust me? Would they still continue to listen to me? Would I still be impactful? And the part is when you stay true to who you are in essence, and some people might not kind of want to be able to continue following you because that's not their interest anymore, but you're going to attract other people. So that's very important. So don't be afraid of when you are reinventing yourself, and just some a little bit health and wellness, but kind of go inward when that is happening, because sometimes you're reinventing yourself, still being that person for everybody else, but within you, go inward, focus on yourself, try to see, okay, what exactly do I love about this? How do I want to present it to the world? And then slowly shift your way like that. You can do it abruptly. Everybody can do it, but I find a slowly shift transitioning and always explaining to the people, your community, what you're doing and how you're doing it. I think it's a nice, easy transition when it comes to transitioning your brand. And I find it very important, but stay true to yourself, and the people who's with you are going to continue being with you. And don't be afraid of rebranding yourself. I was a proposal planner. I was in hospitality. I love proposal planning. It was a passion of mine. I did it. I remember when I was a little girl, I would love weddings. I love weddings. I have no idea how exactly I would want to get married. Now I have a few ideas. But before then, I had no idea. But I give essays about wedding planning. I get essays about weddings and different cultures. And I eventually built my brand. I didn't become a wedding planner, which I thought I would. No, I created something different. I became a proposal planner. I saw a niche in the market. I built on it, not because I know it would be successful or profitable, but because I was so passionate about it. And due to the fact I was so passionate about it, I exude that through everybody. And that is why the business at that time became such a success. And then the world changed. It was 2019, you went to 2020, 2021, the world changed. So I was abruptly faced with the fact that what I'm focused on, my business to come in, that didn't come in anymore. But 2019, I was already kind of getting into a new passion, something I love, something that I just cannot stop speaking about. I was telling all my friends and my family, do this better, you can drink water, this and that. I was just so focused on it. And then I took the brave decision. I did have support. It's really important to have financial support. And I took the brave decision to say, okay, I'm going to stop with this and I'm going to transition into health. And until right now, I'm still growing and I'm still evolving. I changed my aspect in health so many times. From yoga teacher, health and wellness, wellness entrepreneur. I did all of it, but at the end of the day, I'm just focusing and searching how I want to evolve and become better. And I think you don't have to be afraid of it. I'm still trying to evolve within my own. And not everybody who used to love watching me with all the flowers on my social media and all the couples saying I do, some of them are maybe not following me anymore or don't find that I'm so interesting. But I have a whole new bunch of people who do feel it's important. So when you transition, you're rebranding, do it slowly, softly, go inward, talk to yourself, and always follow your passion. Again, it's my motto of the morning.
I actually started following you with the... I actually started following you when you did wellness. I never knew you did the proposal.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I didn't know this.
Amazing.
See? So you did get a new follower from transitioning.
You see?
Yes. So the last question that we have for today is for both of you. And it says, I don't know who wants to go first? Lindy? Looking at all the women here today, what message would you share to inspire them to embrace reinvention, show up boldly and create a brand and a life that truly reflects their power and purpose?
Well, I'm going to keep this short. Just be yourself, because no matter what colors you pick, what logo, what branding, people can always see the energy. If it's in the picture, if it's in the video, you can always feel it if this person is authentic or they're just trying too much and it doesn't feel real. So just be yourself, and those who you are meant to maybe influence or maybe inspire, you will get your own people. And maybe if you feel like, you know what, oh, this is not working, or I'm trying so hard, maybe you're inspiring someone else very close to you, or maybe you don't even know it. So continue. And then one day it will all pay off. Thank you.
Ladies, feliz Dia de la Mujer. Happy Women's Day to everybody watching the podcast. Before we close off, I would want to say thank you to Bull for inviting me. I think it's a beautiful setup, this all together, and I think the podcasts are very, very nice. And ladies, everybody here, if I can say one word to you guys that could be inspiring, like Lindy said, be yourself, follow your passion, don't be afraid, and show up, because you're influencing, like Lindy said, everybody around you and yourself, which is very important. Believe in yourself no matter what, because you can be a banker, you can be a notary, you can be a HR director. Be yourself in every aspect, show up fully yourself, and that's going to open doors where you thought you wouldn't even be able to open doors. And remember, stay kind to everybody else around you, and energy speaks for itself. Have a beautiful day, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, and it was a pleasure for me to host you today. Thank you. I think I'm less nervous now. Maybe next time. Thank you.